February, the final score came in on 8 years of the Bush administration handling of the economy. The stock market at 7,100 and the monthly average of the newly unemployed at 645,000 and rising. Today, the brakes apparently started to take hold. The stock market crossed 9,300 and unemployment not only finally stopped growing in July, it actually shrank just a little bit. Our fourth story in the countdown, the Republicans say this has nothing to do with the Obama stimulus plan, nor even the efforts late in the Bush administration to de-wobble the banking industry. It just sort of happened, you know, like spontaneous combustion, or when a cloud of flies suddenly moves 5 feet to the left all at the same time. The new jobs figures out today showed the decrease unexpected in the July unemployment rate and the big drop in the number of jobs lost. That plus last week's good gross domestic product numbers prompted the president to cautious optimism.
Today, we're pointed in the right direction. We're losing jobs at less than half the rate we were when I took office. We've pulled the financial system back from the brink, and a rising market is restoring value to those 401ks that are the foundation of a secure retirement. We've enabled families to reduce the payments on their mortgages, making their homes more affordable and reducing the number of foreclosures. We helped revive the credit markets and opened up loans for families and small businesses.
But with priceless spin, RNC Chairman Michael Steele says the markets are up because the president is failing, because the train is slowed on health care, because cap and trade basically imploded under its own weight in the House and couldn't get across the street to the Senate, because the Obama juggernaut on trying to manage and control our economy has slowed down. The market is beginning to do what markets are supposed to do: heal thyself. Let's welcome the senior editor of Newsweek magazine, Daniel Gross. Thank you for your time again tonight, sir.
Good to be here.
So this was a miracle. It just sort of inexplicably happened, like when the Macarena became a hit song.
Oh, you just gave me a flashback to a lot of bad weddings in the 90s with that Macarena reference. Yeah, look, 2,000 years ago, we had the Immaculate Conception. 35 years ago, we had the Immaculate Reception. And now we've got the Immaculate Recovery. No one seemed to have anything to do with it.
Good economic news. Cash for clunkers, health care reform. None of this factored into what we saw today?
Well, cash for clunkers, I think, helped a little bit because people saw that there was a huge amount of economic activity being generated by that. But, you know, the mood is changing. We've processed a lot of the losses. A lot of these bailout efforts have actually worked. People are continuing to pay back that TARP money. And the stimulus is working its way in. So it's a combination of the natural healing effects of a economy processing losses and these extra little gooses that the government is giving it through these targeted efforts.
Dan, almost since the stimulus was announced, the Republicans continue to point to the mounting job losses as a sign that it wasn't working, and there was a reason to believe that there might be something to what they said. But what do they do now that that has stopped and improved in the other direction by comparatively an inch?
Pray for rain.
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting. A couple months ago, it was very common to hear people on the right saying that, you know, Obama should stop talking about how bad things were when he got into office, that he owns this economy. It's his now. And he said, okay, I'll take it. Now that it's showing signs of improving, they're saying, oh, he doesn't own that economy. He's maybe just, you know, renting or visiting it for a while.
Last point, I mentioned the dollar internationally stronger against the yen and much stronger during the day against the euro. I don't really understand why that is good news or why that is kind of a neutral opinion. Can you explain?
Well, it's very complicated, which is what people always say when asked to explain currency movements. But the U.S. versus the euro and the yen, one of the big factors that goes into making that stronger is whether people think economic growth will be much stronger in one country versus another. If people are all of a sudden thinking that economic growth is going to be much stronger in the U.S. than it is going to be in Japan and in Europe, then the dollar will rise against those currencies.
So you can reverse engineer that and say that's what they must be thinking because the dollar went up. I got it. All right, that was made simple. Thank you. Dan Gross, senior editor at Newsweek magazine. Again, great thanks.
Thank you.